I was lying still for a moment, a standing, breathing shadow floating inside the room. Space encapsulated the visceral and mental landscapes of the southern periphery, the place of my origin. The view from the window initiated a series of primary thoughts that prolonged the distance from the remembered roadside wastelands of the nightly avenue. The room resembled the cabin of my car, sterile and cold. It protruded these thoughts as the expanding growths of a premature city. I could almost project the room as a traveling capsule, a place offering me the possibility to explore, slip away in the reminiscence of a wasteland fantasy. I felt I was becoming the pilot of the enclosed cabin, a pilot without the need of physical navigational controls. The lights flickered again, this time echoed slightly shorter but louder. The plastic flooring clattered slightly as I stepped in. The pebble-like corners of the cubicle room revealed its cathartic purpose. It seemed that the orifices of my thoughts had now materialized. The roadside suburban growths were now manifested into a colony of organized synthetic particles, fitting for my dreams of the southern wasteland, a dream inside another. As I stepped inside, I thought that my consequent bodily transition from an entirely open space to a more confined and finally to a smaller, propelled the mending operation, concluded by the total enclosure into the single-person cabin. For a moment, the opaque colors of the capsule room reminded me of the enflustered textures of warm, sandy beaches, or that of the hue of anemic volcanic pebbles. There was an unconfined sensation of claustrophobia embedded in the dimmed-out space. The dark, carpeted corridors seemed to have the ability of sucking the light from the fragile artificial sources. Very often, while I'd be on my way up, I would encounter a pile of colorful rubbish. It was difficult to tell where it was coming from. Sometimes, bigger bits of that mysterious debris reminded me of the familiar structures of worn-out roadside pseudostructures, or of the countless incomplete concrete buildings I'd see outside my car window. This inexplicable mess made me think the animated expanding urban developments of the suburbia of the southern periphery, an exuberant mess, a city creature that would eventually reach the sea and storm its undiluted shores with its frantic, convoluted material chaos. The narrowness of the space gave me the impression that my ascent could have also been as well as a descent. A one-way, characterless artery, a suspended, encased tube system leading to my secret vessel. I hastily passed the cresting corridor intersection and entered the northernmost artery in the far right of the narrow. The room capsule was there, its characterless door lighted slightly bluish under the emerging vertical rays of a ceiling spotlight. The water flashed down in short gusts. It produced a monotonous pushing throb. The pressure was erratic. By closing my eyes, I could feel my heart pounding, its pulses reaching my forehead, then my temples. I placed my fingers softly on them and massaged my veins. The rest of my palm covered my ears, and for as long as I stood there, I heard the relieving sound of the falling water being filtered through the scrambling of my palm on my outer ear. My hand resembled a somewhat living and intelligent shutter that opened to well-calculated times in order to receive the mending vertical gusts and then close again, so as its use for that still interval was uncompromisingly necessary. I stepped out with the blue towel around my waist, still water dripping down on me. The dimmed colors of the room appeared hazy blue. The view from the vertical chromium blinds appeared sepia-colored and fantastically lightened up. The wrinkled-up duvet was peculiarly white under the bed lamplight, admitting on a welcoming contact. After I wiped myself with the towel and wore some clean underwear, I sat down on the bed seats, relieved and calmed down. The sepia-dark, low clouds formed a protecting shield over the enclosed neighborhood. I could now view clearly from the center of the room. As a matter of fact, I could now see more than any other night. That was the property of that night sky. Reluctantly, I entered under the bed seats. Although I felt tired, the unclear picture of the melancholic day extinguished under the mending properties of the beige shower room, or that of the closing daily time span. Both conclusions struck me as an inescapable mystery. The day reached its outermost edge as the sky on the northern part gave the possibility for some lucky guessing. And then I slept.